There is a silence that belongs only to the dead, not the silence of empty rooms or quiet streets, but the silence of moments frozen mid-breath, of words left forever unfinished, of lives interrupted without warning. It is a silence you can almost touch in the ruins of Pompeii, where time itself stopped on a summer morning 2,000 years ago and has never truly started again. On the morning of August 24th, in the year 79 of the Common Era,
the people of Pompeii rose to greet what they believed would be an ordinary day.
Merchants unlocked their shops and arranged their goods for sale. Bakers pulled fresh bread from stone ovens, filling narrow streets with warmth and aroma. Politicians rehearsed their speeches in the Forum. Children chased each other through shaded alleyways. It was a thriving city of 20,000 souls, alive with all the chaos and beauty of Roman life at its peak. The morning air smelled of bread and olive oil, of horses and the distant sea, of wine from the night before and flowers blooming in hidden courtyards. Lovers whispered promises they fully intended to keep. Old men argued politics in the Forum while slaves carried water from marble fountains. Life was ordinary. Life was good. And none of them, not a single soul in that busy city, knew that the great mountain watching over them was about to betray everything they loved. The earth had been restless for days. Small tremors rolled through the streets, the kind that rattle cups on tables and wake light sleepers before dawn. Dogs barked at shadows, birds abandoned nests for no visible reason. But the people paid little attention to these signs. Earthquakes were common in this region, as familiar as summer heat. 17 years before, a great quake had leveled half the city. They had rebuilt every fallen stone. They were survivors. They always had been. But sometime around midday, while citizens ate their simple lunch of bread and cheese and olives, while children played in sunny courtyards, the mountain finally cleared its throat. And when Vesuvius speaks, the entire world has no choice but to listen. A column of smoke and ash rose 30 kilometers into the atmosphere, higher than anything humans would build for another 2,000 years. From the streets of Pompeii, 8 kilometers away, it must have looked like a monstrous pine tree, its dark trunk reaching toward the heavens, its branches spreading slowly across the sky, gradually blotting out the sun that had blessed their morning just hours before. Across the bay in Misenum, a 17-year-old boy named Pliny stood watching from a marble terrace. He held a stylus and tablet, recording everything with careful scholarly attention. Years later, he would write that the cloud was unlike anything anyone had ever witnessed, rising from the mountain like some living thing from nightmare. He did not yet understand that his beloved uncle, the naturalist Pliny the Elder, would soon sail directly toward that deadly cloud to rescue the people trapped beneath it. His uncle would never return. The first pumice stones began falling around 1 in the afternoon, small at first, pebbles of volcanic glass clattering on terracotta roofs like strange hail from a cloudless sky. Curious citizens caught them in their hands and examined them with wonder. What strange message was this? But within hours, the stones grew larger and fell faster. The sky turned black as midnight, though the hour was barely past noon. Day became night without warning. Imagine standing in that total darkness, knowing the sun still burned somewhere above. Air so thick with ash that each breath feels like swallowing sand and broken glass. Stones striking your shoulders, your head. The sound, a constant roar like 1,000 thunderstorms, punctuated by the crash of buildings collapsing, by screams of neighbors you will never see again. Some fled immediately. They grabbed whatever they could, coins, jewelry, the hands of crying children, and ran toward the harbor, toward the gates, toward anywhere that was not here. They fought through darkness and falling stone, desperate for survival. Some of these runners would eventually reach safety. Most would not. Others made a different choice. Perhaps too old to run, perhaps unable to abandon everything they had built, perhaps simply unable to believe the gods would permit such destruction. These souls retreated into their homes. They closed heavy shutters against the falling sky. They gathered loved ones close. They held each other in darkness and prayed to gods who were not listening. The pumice fell for 18 straight hours without pause. By the gray dawn of August 25th, it lay 3 meters deep, taller than a man, burying ground floors, transforming streets into gray canyons of stone. Roofs collapsed under the weight. Doors disappeared beneath debris. Those who had stayed indoors found themselves trapped in tombs of their own making. But the mountain was not finished. It had not yet shown its true face. Just after midnight, the eruption column collapsed under its own weight. A pyroclastic surge, superheated gas at 500 degrees, traveling at 100 kilometers per hour, swept down the mountain like the burning breath of hell itself. Nothing in its path could survive. It reached Pompeii in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. The time it takes to boil water. The time it takes to say goodbye. There was no warning, no escape. Only a wall of invisible fire descending from the mountain they had once called home. Those still alive did not suffer long. The heat was so intense that death came in a single breath. Lungs seared, muscles frozen, life extinguished before pain could register. Bodies locked in their final postures, preserved by the very force that killed them. Some caught mid-stride, still fleeing. Some curled in corners with arms raised against an enemy they could not fight. Some locked in final embraces, holding loved ones as the world ended around them. A mother, her body curved protectively around her child, still trying to shield an infant who could not be saved. When the sun rose on August 26th, Pompeii was gone, not destroyed, buried, preserved beneath 6 meters of volcanic debris, like an insect in amber, like a moment frozen in glass. 20,000 lives ended in a single day, an entire civilization sealed in stone. For 17 centuries, the city slept beneath the earth. The Roman Empire fell. New civilizations rose and crumbled. Farmers planted vineyards in the rich volcanic soil, never knowing they walked above buried temples. Shepherds grazed flocks on hills that were once bathhouses. Children played where senators had debated. The dead city waited patiently in darkness, keeping its secrets. Then, in 1748, workers digging a well struck something unexpected, a painted wall, colors still vivid after 1,700 years. Archaeologists arrived. They began to dig. What they found changed our understanding of the ancient world forever. A complete city frozen in time, streets still paved, walls still standing, secrets finally ready to be revealed. Today, we walk the streets they walked. We read their graffiti. Love declarations, crude jokes, political slogans, advertisements for gladiator fights. We know what they ate for their last meals. We know their names, their scandals, their dreams. We know them better than our own great-grandparents, because the mountain that killed them also preserved them forever. Pompeii reminds us that civilizations are fragile, that ordinary mornings can become final chapters without warning, that the earth does not care for our plans. But Pompeii also reminds us of something more important, that we leave traces, that our loves and struggles endure, that a mother's embrace can last 2,000 years and still move us to tears. In Pompeii, 2,000 years after the sky fell, we can still hear them. We can still see them. They are still here, waiting in silence, waiting for us to remember, waiting to remind us what it truly means to be human.